I go, here I go, yeah, here I go, here I go.
Welcome in, everyone, to yet another episode of The Take with your host, Jackson Burlison, of course. In this episode, we got a very special guest. He has not been on the podcast in person. This is his first time being in person. Preston Vargas, host of Three's a Crowd, man, making the trip from Orlando to Tampa to come and hop on the pod, man. Appreciate you being here, man.
Yes, of course. Thank you for having me.
We were attempting yesterday to do the 9-inning challenge where you had a beer and a hot dog every inning. I went 3. Preston did not make it as long as he thought, so that's why he's up here. Yeah, Preston, how was that experience for you?
I mean, it's the first and last time I'll do it. I'll just say that. What I didn't expect was the beers to be 25 ounces. I thought it would be like 12.
Yeah, we just started counting them as like 2 instead of 1 because we were getting these things and they were like $20 beers. Like
that's insane.
That's still a lot to pay. I mean, I'm and the Rays did not win. So
no. Yeah. Honestly, I don't remember the game that much.
Well, man, we got a lot of NFL news to dive into today. Make sure to subscribe, you guys. Comment down below your thoughts on the video. What do you want to see us talk about in the future? Hit the notification bell. You'll get that alert when I'm posting and things like that. Short content, long format podcast content, anything. I got it for you guys. So let's go ahead and dive into some news because we got my Dallas Cowboys made a move yesterday. We go ahead and sign Von Miller. You know, he is older, so he's not the Von Miller we once knew and loved, who won Super Bowl 50 MVP. So obviously we're not getting that kind of player, but I think this is a good depth position that Dallas can add to this defensive line, and I think he's a guy that can rotate. 8-time Pro Bowler, entering his 15th year in the league. I mean, it was a 1-year contract, but he enters 2026 tied for 9th all-time in NFL sacks with DeMarcus Ware at 138.5 career sacks. He's also coming off a 9-sack, 26-tackle season with Washington. So we're kind of looking for a guy to just come in and be able to affect the quarterback. And he's a veteran guy, so he'll be able to help, your UCF Knight, like Micah Lawrence, who's on the team as well, get the nuances and things like that. I like the signing. I think it makes Dallas better. I think it makes our depth on our defense a little bit better. What's your take on the Von Miller signing?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a great signing for the Cowboys. I mean, they need a depth piece as well. Of course, a veteran presence for Micah Lawrence, who is expected to take over that spot. This Cowboys defense is going to be pretty good coming into this year.
I hope. I hope, dude. I mean, we got the pieces we needed to at least improve. I mean, I don't think it's a. I said it last week. I don't think it's far stretched that we could be a top 15 defense.
No, absolutely not. I think you guys can be a great defense. This maybe even top 10 to crack that.
I hope top 10 defense. With our secondary, I think that's where we're going to make the push to be a top 10 unit. Pass rushing, I think we've honestly had in the past, even when we didn't do that well against the Packers in 2023, we still had Micah, but that was the whole thing. Like, hey, listen, are we gonna, try to stop the run or anything like that? We have a segment later in the show where Jerry does, of course, have to mention this. Micah trade every single week. It seems like he's got to say, "Oh, well, it was a good trade for the organization." Well, I mean, how many times do you need to keep saying that? I mean, you don't know how Mike is going to be when he comes back. It's just like he wants the trade to be on his side. He wants it to work so bad. And I get it. I think it has worked to this point. But at certain points, I think it was worth it. We'll skip, we won't mention it now. We'll actually mention it now since I'm talking about it. Jerry talked about how the Micah Parsons trade, they won the Micah Parsons trade. Over time, as currently standing right now, though, what do you think about that verdict that Jerry reached?
About the Micah Parsons trade? I mean, in hindsight, you could say that he got injured with the Packers mid-season and how you got him off the books, got a free first-round pick from the Packers to select Micah Lawrence. But I think there's still time to tell with that. And if Micah comes back where he was before, and who knows how Micah Lawrence will do. Like I said, former UCF Knight, I think he's going to do pretty well. I've never missed a home game that he's played. So, and I saw him play. he was one of our best defensive players in the league in the Big 12 last year, even on some terrible UCF teams. So I think he'll play pretty well, but I think there's still time to tell on the Micah Parsons thing.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I think it's hard to tell right now because on paper it looks like Dallas won because they got all these players. Like they got Quinton Williams, Kenny Clark. Like they have the assets to back it up to make a case like, hey, we probably did win this trade.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you could literally just look at it and be like, well, Parsons tore his ACL. The Cowboys automatically win the trade just because of that injury. I feel like there's a case for both sides there. I don't know. It's hard to really say who won the trade right now because the Packers and Cowboys have not done anything. All the Packers have done is made the playoffs last year and lost. Cowboys didn't even make the playoffs last year. So both of these teams kind of have to do something this year to at least make the answer more definitive. Because right now it's not definitive. It's, well, maybe if this team does it, or maybe if they win a Super Bowl. None of those teams have done that yet. And I know it's only been one season, and Micah didn't even play a full season. But he missed like 3 games last year. This dude, I don't know how he's going to be like the same player maybe this year. Maybe next year, but I think he's rushing it back really fast in my opinion. Week 6 he could potentially play. I mean, that's pretty early in my opinion. For a meniscus and ACL, it's interesting.
I mean, it's only 10 months. I wouldn't say it's too early. A lot of people come back within 9 months to a year. I think he's right around track to return.
Okay. All right. Well, fair enough. I mean, I think we could talk about that trade all day, in my opinion. We had some extensions. The Seahawks are getting a lot done. Devon Witherspoon, they extend him 4 years, $132 million. Very important part of their defense last year, going to the Super Bowl and things like that, and all the success that Seattle had as the best defense in the league last year. That's an important guy you bring in, and you keep him locked in for 4 more years. Just a crucial part of that defense that you had to keep, in my opinion. That was easy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he one of their cornerstones in winning the Super Bowl last year. Of course, like you said, they had the best defense last year. So, yeah, it was a no-brainer to re-sign him up, especially after you lost Kobe Bryant to the Bears in the offseason. He's definitely a piece of your secondary that you have to keep.
Yeah, and you have to keep him around because you're going to be losing some guys. The Seahawks, DeMarcus Lawrence, former Cowboys defensive lineman, now the Seahawks. He said 2026 is going to be his last season. So I think he's had a great career. I mean, I'm glad he got a ring. I mean, I know he was saying he was in purgatory in Dallas after he left. He's like, yeah, I'm never winning a Super Bowl in Dallas. He still had a home in Dallas I think he still does have a home there. He's like, yeah, it's a great place to raise a family, but not particularly the best place to win Super Bowls. And he proved that literally right out of the gate when he left Dallas. First year in Seattle, wins the Super Bowl. I'm like, all right, well, Cowboys might just be cursed. Like, honestly, we might just be that team that, hey, I want to win, but I hope Von Miller is not in that situation. He's saying, oh, I want to return home and get a ring. Like, hey, pump the brakes. Cowboys haven't done anything in 30-plus seasons. We haven't won a Super Bowl since Emmitt Smith was the quarterback. Your jersey is right behind you, or not the quarterback. Your quarterback of our team is right behind you. He didn't play. That dude, there's a whole lot of problems with that. But DeMarcus Lawrence having his last year being this year, I think it's a good way to go out. You can at least go out somewhat on top. I mean, I think this year Seattle's going to be competing, and I think he can still be a huge part of that defense. So, yeah, I think it's a good career for him, though.
Absolutely. How long has he played? 17 years? Or
I don't know how long it's been exactly, but I know for a fact, like, he's been in the league for a while. 34 years of age. This 13th season.
13th season, okay.
13th season. So that's not too bad. 5-time Pro Bowler, 67.5 sacks, second-round pick out of Boise State. That's how I remember him. Boise State, when we picked him out of Boise State, I liked that guy a lot as a prospect. I thought he was a heck of a player coming out of college. Spent 11 years with the Cowboys. But, last year, I forgot. Last year he had 2 defensive touchdowns in a game. I think he had 2 fumbles that were recovered for touchdowns in a single game last season.
It was on November 9th, 2025. It was against Arizona.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, better team to. I guess anybody could have done it against that team.
Sorry, Ashton.
We'll stick with Seahawks here. I do want to ask you about this because Terrion Arnold He's been having an interesting offseason, but now he's saying he's going to sign with the Seahawks. And I don't know. I mean, Arnold is facing 8 felony charges connecting to alleged February kidnapping and robbery here in Tampa. He has pleaded not guilty and denied the allegations. No trial date has been set. Next scheduled court date, October 5th, though. He could potentially be placed on the commissioner's exempt list, which would prevent him from playing or practicing while the league investigates. Seattle, they're looking for the number 3 cornerback position, a little bit of help in that area. I mean, Arnold was, I guess, okay last year, but he did have shoulder surgery last year, so that was tough for him. What do you think about Seattle even trying to give a chance to this guy?
So, Jackson, you mentioned the commissioner's exempt list. Why doesn't the NFL just do that now, put him on the list now, instead of Seattle signing him that he can practice?
I don't know. I mean, if you're a team, why would you sign him if he was in this kind of trouble to begin with?
If Detroit releases you, then you shouldn't sign him.
You shouldn't even, in my opinion, I don't even think he should be allowed to sign with another team because he's in trouble. Like
he's facing life imprisonment. That's no joke.
No. From what I heard and from the way it was broken down to me, basically someone robbed him and then he went and hired people basically to go and do his job for them. That's what I heard, something along those lines. He might have been orchestrating stuff. He wasn't exactly affiliated with like being at the location and like kidnapping these people, but I heard he was the one that ordered the, I guess,
he was an accomplice.
He was the main guy in the job, I think. I think that's what happened.
Yes, absolutely.
From what I read, that's some serious stuff. Like, there's no way you can play in the National Football League when you got that kind of stuff going on. I don't know how a team can welcome that into the locker room, especially the Seahawks.
Yes.
Like, I'm a little bit surprised that the Seahawks, out of all teams, are taking him.
They do have a new ownership group from Jody Allen just sold the team, but yeah, he cannot play while the trial is going on.
No,
he needs to be on the commissioner's exempt list now.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a pretty easy one. And then next news segment that we got, Troy Aikman facing Monday Night Football restrictions due to Dolphins role. So he's a Miami Dolphins consultant right now. So he's basically got the same restrictions similar to Tom Brady because of his Raiders ownership stake. So the restrictions that Aikman has this year, he must attend broadcast production meetings remotely. He cannot attend team practices at team facilities. He can conduct interviews outside team facilities and can still call games involving the Dolphins, but it looks like to me he's just not allowed to be at the facility as much and not allowed to attend meetings in person. Well, is that enough for guys like that who are at least involved in an NFL franchise to a certain degree?
In my opinion, if you're an analyst for a network like Fox or ESPN, you can't do it both ways. Tom Brady included. You can't be an advisor to the Raiders and be on Fox at the same time. You got to pick one or the other.
Yeah, I think it's just you have an advantage, right?
Yes.
I mean, I get that you're not a coach and you're not going to go out there and like use it, but if you say something on the broadcast, like you do stuff like Tony Romo was doing where he was like predicting plays, like they told him to stop that because eventually you're just literally telling people what a team's running. At some point, you kind of have to keep it hidden a little bit just for the integrity of the game and helping at least these competitions be fair, I feel like, because when you do have like Troy Aikman, he's going to know more information about the opposing team. You don't want him to go over there and tell the Dolphins, hey, this is what this team's doing. Like, I figured it out, like, just because of my analyst position in Monday Night Football. Or even Tom Brady. Like, I don't think any of those guys, if you're affiliated with a team in any way, if you're getting paid to do a job for a football team, you should not be allowed to commentate.
No, absolutely not.
It's an advantage for your organization if you leak that information.
And there was a potential conflict of interest last year with Tom Brady. The Bears played the Cowboys the previous week. That was the Fox 425 game, and then the Bears played the Raiders the next week.
And I also think last year that Tom Brady, they actually kind of loosened it up for him. So he actually was allowed to attend some team meetings towards the end of the season, which I know a lot of people were upset about at first. Attending team meetings and being an owner, or any kind of owner of a team, should not be attending any kind of meeting like that ever.
Absolutely not. I didn't know about that before you said it.
Last year, I think they kind of loosened up the rules a little bit, and he was allowed to do a little bit more just because of preparation and things like that. Because it does help. I mean, getting that information and things like that doesn't hurt.
But it goes to the point: 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I think it's appropriate that they're doing this with Troy Aikman. I don't know what Troy Aikman is helping the Dolphins with. It clearly ain't no quarterback, I'll tell you what. It clearly ain't no receivers. It clearly ain't no defense. I mean, I don't even know why he's even attempting. That's just a waste of his time, in my opinion. And then we got another situation, I guess. We had some news that Falcons defensive end James Pierce gets an 8-game suspension for violating the NFL's code of conduct policy. The suspension stems from a February incident in Doral, Florida, involving an alleged domestic violence dispute. If you guys have not seen the police body cam footage, James Pierce literally drove away from the police officer, and it was a full-on police chase. This dude was literally getting chased for 10 minutes. Yeah. He gets 8 games. I think this is the wildest thing. Just hear me out here. Calvin Ridley gets, a full season for gambling? He gets suspended an entire season. But this guy puts, 1, people's lives in danger by running from the police. And 2, he's breaking the law. Why is this guy getting half the season compared to what a dude would get gambling? I don't understand why it's like that. You're literally putting people's lives in danger. With gambling, not so much. I don't think it's to the certain degree of like running away from police officers. I think that's something to think about with these.
Absolutely, I agree with you there. I'm going back to the whole Ray Rice situation where you only got like 2 games before the body cam footage came out for the elevator, and then he was released. I mean, I don't know if James Pierce Jr. should be released by the Falcons here until the full investigation is complete. But I think an 8-game suspension is warranted for now.
Yeah, and then the same thing with Kareem Hunt.
Yes.
I mean, there was this very similar situation to Ray Rice, and Kareem Hunt's allowed to play in football. Ray Rice never touched the field after that.
But how old was Ray Rice at the time?
He was in his prime. I mean, I think he was at least at the end of his prime. Yeah. I think it was 2013. I think it was after their Super Bowl, right?
I think it was the 2014 offseason.
I think that was after the Super Bowl.
Went down.
I think that was after the Super Bowl year.
Because they won the Super Bowl in 2012.
So that would have been 2 years. So right after that, he's not allowed. He never touched the football field again.
No.
But Kareem Hunt can do the same. That's what I don't get. I don't get the punishments aren't. It doesn't feel like it's equalized in a way. Like it feels like everything's different. And gambling should not be full season, in my opinion.
It depends on if you're an outcome of the game situation.
If you're fixing, but we haven't seen that yet.
No.
So I don't think that's. I think that's more deserving of a season than. I don't know. I don't like the punishments for some guys. But, hey, it's the National Football League. We've seen guys get away with a lot of things and come back and still be able to play.
Okay, so here's the difference with Ray Rice and Kareem Hunt. Ray Rice was 27. Kareem Hunt was 23.
I mean, is that a big difference? They did the same thing. Are you really going to give a guy a pass just because he's 4 years younger? Is that it?
I think if you
I'm not doing that.
If you have the talent, then I guess whatever goes.
You would think, but Ray Rice was still one of the most talented running backs in the league, in my opinion. People were waiting for him to come back. I remember when I was sitting in there, fantasy waiver wire, had him on my team when he was a free agent, when he was supposed to rumoredly sign with the Colts, but he never ended up even signing with anybody. So there was rumors of him potentially coming back. I just don't think any team wanted to take a chance on that. I think that's what happened. I think with Kareem Hunt, he got an opportunity with the Browns, who were known for taking second chances on players. He didn't go to the Browns. Maybe Ray Rice could have been to the Browns, but they didn't want to take him. And it was just, that was the first kind of situation like that, where you've seen whole elevator, camera, you saw the whole thing. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen that. That's probably why they didn't give as many games until after that. Then it's okay, the girl was unconscious on the ground. Like, you kind of have to do something with that. I don't know. We'll see how that kind of unfolds with James Pierce there. 8 games, I think you probably could have made it 10, but I'm not going to be nitpicky with that, honestly. I think 8 games is plenty. Staying on the Falcons, man. Sorry that the Falcons keep getting some bad news today. Tua Tagovailoa looked awful in his preseason debut. I'm not going to blow this up and make it like cut Tua, all this. No, I'm not going to do that. Do I think Tua sucks? Yeah, I think he sucks. Like, in my opinion, this goes way beyond just his play on the field. Like, for his safety, I don't think he should ever touch a football field ever again. He is one concussion away from not even remembering what team he's playing for. I feel like that's how bad his head is, in my opinion.
I mean, concussion didn't come to my head at the first time when thinking about Tua's performance on Thursday night. I mean, you bring up that point, the 2 concussions he suffered. I mean, if he's playing bad now, then there's probably not much of a chance he should play in the future.
Like, I don't know, and I don't know why he's got weapons on his team this year. Like, if he's bad, he's just bad. There's nothing you can say. I don't care what the Falcons, I don't care about what other people think. Oh, they're not a good team. No, they have good weapons. They have Bijan Robinson. They have Drake London. Like, they have Kyle Pitts, who's supposed to be good. They have players. Like, they do. The quarterback competition's not even been that good because Michael Penix hasn't even been in pads at all. So I don't know when he's coming back, but.
I mean, Tua, let me see who is playing. I mean, you didn't have Bijan Robinson out there.
No, I don't think.
Kyle Pitts played, but.
He was 3 for 5.
Drake London, he didn't play either. So.
But you got to at least look. Maybe it's preseason, so you don't have to over-evaluate it, but you can't second time you were under center just straight up drop the ball. This is simple fundamentals here. Like, just catch the football. That's a problem. If he's already dropping snaps, first game of the season, preseason.
You can't do that in games, even though it's a preseason game. I heard a saying this morning, they don't count, but they matter.
I mean, it's a rep.
Yes.
And I don't know if it'll impact it. I mean, I don't think Tua is even going to be the starting quarterback when Michael Penix comes back. I think Michael Penix is better. He has a better arm. That's all he needs. Tua can't throw the ball past the 50-yard line. Like, he cannot throw the ball down the field. He's shown that. The only thing that Michael Penix has over him is the physical build to at least maybe appear that you could be a good quarterback. Tua, we've seen what Tua can do. He's had Tyreek Hill. He's had Mike McDaniels. He's had everything that he's needed to be good. We've seen him be good, surprisingly. Yes. I mean, we saw him lead the league in passing yards one year. But even for that season, you still saw a lot of holes in Tua's game. Like, his arm strength was not there. He was not able to fit it into tight windows. He also really didn't throw it in the middle of the field that much. There was a lot of, short routes, screens. I think Stefanski could do something similar with that, just to try to get his playmakers out in space, just so Tua isn't putting the ball in harm's way. But I just think Tua shouldn't even be on the field. It shocks me, honestly, every day that he steps on the football field. Because after those concussions that he had, where it was Thursday night in Cincinnati that season, where he had all those concussions, and then he came back, I think he was running, and then he kind of got hit, but he hit his head on the ground. That's when you kind of know, I feel like, I just don't want to see him get hurt at this point. I just don't. You're not that good anymore, and I don't think it's worth putting your health on the line to play football.
Yeah, it's definitely not worth it. You got a wife and a kid at home.
And they're paying him $1.3 million, which is cheap compared to what the Dolphins gave him. Oof. They gave him so much money. But yeah, we'll go ahead and move on to the main portion of the show. Make sure to subscribe, you guys. Hit the notification bell. Comment your thoughts so far on the video and some of the news segments. We're going to go ahead and dive into this Jayden Daniels and LSU number 5 nonsense that has been just flooding social media the last week. have not gotten to address this. We have a couple of sound bites that we're going to play. So we've got Lane Kiffin. We're going to hear from him, and then we're going to hear from DJ Pickett, who is the player on LSU's defense that is planning on wearing the number 5 this year. So we're going to hear from Pickett and Kiffin 1 second, and then we'll be back to kind of tackle this situation and what our thoughts are.
About the number situation, I wore the number my whole life since I was 4 years old. It was a number I was promised. And I wish Jayden the best. Good player, and he did real good here, so that's all.
DJ is in 5, and that was a situation that was promised to him in recruiting here for him to sign here. And I've done a lot of research on that with the family and the representatives and the people. And so really, I didn't have a decision to make. It was promised to the kid. It wasn't done for whatever. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to judge something that I wasn't here of. But when a kid's promised something to come to school, he should wear it. And so at that point, I don't really think that's my decision.
Okay, so I'm just gonna make sure you guys know exactly what's going on here, and then we will react to this one. So Jayden Daniels' camp has sent LSU a cease and desist letter over the use of his NIL, while a separate dispute has erupted over LSU giving his former number 5 jersey to sophomore cornerback DJ Pickett. Now the big issue is Daniels wore number 5 during 2023, where he won the Heisman Trophy and became LSU's 3rd Heisman winner. Daniels' camp believes that the number would remain part of his LSU legacy and not given to another player. Pickett says that number 5 was promised to him during his recruitment, and he has worn the number since his childhood. The thing about this is that Daniels' attorney in the cease and desist letter, his contract reportedly allowed LSU to actually use his NIL for 180 days after his final college game. That window has expired. Daniels' attorney is demanding LSU stop using his NIL for promotion, commercialization, publications, and displays, other uses of his identity. Jersey number issue, Daniels is upset about the number 5, reissued it to Pickett. The number was never officially retired. Never officially retired. Just keep that in mind when we're talking about this. The jersey dispute is more about legacy and promises, while the cease and desist focuses on the NIL rights. I don't... Okay, and then LSU, so the promise thing, so Brian Kelly's staff his staff promised Pickett that number. Daniels believed his wishes regarding the number would be honored, which they actually were honored. Pickett did not wear number 5 last year. And then Kelly, he chose to not give him number 5. After Kelly was fired, Lane Kiffin now decided to honor the promise. So you got Lane Kiffin, what Brian Kelly said about it, he said he chose not to issue the number because Daniels did not want Pickett wearing it. Kelly compared the situation to Joe Burrow's number 9. Burrow's number 9 has not been worn since the 2019 Heisman and National Championship season. Kelly, he did not want LSU to treat Daniels differently from another Heisman winner by allowing one number to stay out of circulation while reissuing another. Pickett has no plans to change his number. He says it was the number he promised. He's sticking with it. He expressed that he respects Daniels and things like that. So that's what we're looking at right now with this. I don't know why Jayden Daniels cares so much. Now he wants the Heisman Trophy back. Like, there's all this other crap that's been going on with him. Just leave it alone. Mm-hmm. Your number was not retired to begin with. If your number was retired, I get that. If you want your number never to be worn and it was retired, cool. But it's not retired, so you can't say anything about it. I know it's traditional, but Lane Kiffin has every right to say, hey, you can wear that number. Or the previous coaching staff when you recruited him, yeah, we promised you this number. You can wear it. I don't have a problem with Lane Kiffin letting Pickett wear the number. The problem I do have with this is that Jayden Daniels is acting like a baby. And he's saying, oh, number 5, woo. So does that mean every single player in college football can't wear number 5? Like, this is exactly what the message is feeling like right now. I know that's not what it is, but you're going to that extreme to have a player take off a jersey because you wore it, wouldn't you want him to wear that and represent you? I don't know. I think it's stupid and a waste of time.
Absolutely. I agree with you there. I mean, I want to touch up on this point. Jayden Daniels comparing himself to Joe Burrow. Yeah, he won a Heisman, but what did Joe Burrow do? He won a national championship. Where did Jayden Daniels do? His highest accomplishment? ReliaQuest Bowl. Played across the bay here in Tampa. So, where they beat Wisconsin. Joe Burrow led arguably the best team in college football to a national championship. There's no comparing Jayden Daniels' legacy at LSU to what Joe Burrow has done. I'm sorry.
Also, LSU policy states an athlete must be finished competing for 5 years before becoming eligible for jersey retirement consideration. A retired number does not necessarily prevent a current athlete from wearing that number. The head coach has discretion in many cases, just like this one. Now, the Heisman Trophy dispute, just what I asked. Reports also say that Daniels' representative asked LSU to return the school's copy of the Heisman Trophy he won in 2023. LSU reportedly does not intend to return it. This would take the feud to an absolutely another level if that ends up happening. So the main message here is that Jayden Daniels said he wants to focus on Washington Commanders football, which doesn't really feel like that. I know you keep saying, oh, we're handling this in a private matter. It isn't. It's not a private matter. It's already a big story. I know you may not feel like that. You may not feel like you're having an attitude, but he's having an attitude. This is pettiness. If he won a national championship, like you were saying, I would honestly be on his side here. Brian Kelly promised Pickett this number. Probably is where this problem begins. Don't promise a guy a number, then don't let him wear it. And then the next year, a new head coach says, yeah, you can wear it. Like, what are we doing? You promised the kid, don't promise kids numbers. Don't do that. Now he has to wear it because Lane Kiffin has an obligation now for this kid to wear this number. Because Brian Kelly said, whoa, this is the dude who tried to have a southern accent at LSU basketball. Family, like, stop it. This dude tried tradition and it didn't work. It's okay. Like, I think it's just so stupid in my opinion. Oh, yeah. just if Jayden Daniels was a national champion, and let's just also say one more thing. What did Jayden Daniels' teammates do after he left Arizona State? They took a picture of his locker and were like, yeah, we're not going to miss you or whatever. Like, you remember that? Nobody remembers that. Like, everyone hated Jayden Daniels at Arizona State. You think LSU fans, you think they like Jayden Daniels? He didn't win. He didn't win a national championship.
And that's the standard in Baton Rouge.
It is the standard. That's why LSU hired Lane Kiffin, because they weren't winning. I just think this is a distraction. It's just a distraction to the program. There's no outside noise that needs to be like that, especially for both camps, Commanders and Jayden Daniels, and then LSU's camp.
And he's got to prove it season coming up in Washington, whether he can get a contract extension.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on this.
Exactly. Let's get into this week's play of the week, you guys. So this week's play of the week was a good one from the Broncos and Falcons preseason game. We had a crazy one-handed catch by Courtland Sutton that we're going to go ahead and play for you guys real fast. Courtland Sutton, he played really, really well in this preseason game. 3 catches, 3 targets for 60 yards. He is coming off back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, and he's looking ready for the regular season.
Then you had Christian Harris coming over the top, and the rookie, Kendall Daniels, number 53. Keep an eye on him. Heck of a catch there by Sutton. What a catch by Courtland Sutton. And that looked like it was almost pass interference as well. A 16-yard completion. That was the first pass.
Yeah, you watch C.J. Henderson. He is like he got good coverage, or maybe he's just holding that other arm, and he's falling to the ground. But
that's a good catch. He didn't even put his second hand on it. Ever, to at least balance it out, because I think the other corner was honestly grabbing him a little bit. Yeah. I think he kind of got away with that. Courtland Sutton's a very underrated player, in my opinion. I think he doesn't get the respect he deserves because he's not at least in the past, he hasn't been one of those top superstar number 1 wide receiver type guys. Mm-hmm. But this year, Courtland Sutton, he's going to have a fun season because he's got Jalen Waddle now. He's actually got a somewhat competent option at wide receiver next to him that's at least good or not better than him. That was a great catch, great play. He had another one in this. I think it was a longer ball he caught. That was the play of the week this week. Is between Courtland Sutton play, Courtland Sutton play. That's how good Courtland Sutton was this week.
Oh, yeah, definitely ball down in the preseason. I mean, like you said, he's definitely a good number one option, good fantasy option if you want to pick him up there. But with Bo Nix at quarterback, leading them to the number one seed, he definitely had a great season last year. I think he have a better one this year.
Yeah, I think even from what he's been doing, like he hasn't been putting up like crazy stats, but he could easily, I think, replicate that. It'll be interesting to see how Denver's offense is this year, adding Jalen Waddle, and how much better Sutton will be, because he won't be just getting guarded by the number one corners all the time. He'll actually get somewhat of a game off maybe. Maybe they'll focus a little bit more on Waddle. Yeah. We'll see kind of how that game plan works out. Then we'll talk about some more preseason debuts that we had. So we'll go ahead and talk about Fernando Mendoza first overall pick. 10 of 16 passing, 97 yards and a touchdown. Who did they play again? God.
They played the Cardinals.
That's right, Cardinals.
They lost that.
Yeah. I think Fernando looked good. Is up and down, of course. It's a rookie. It's your first game. That one ball where he just jumped up and threw it, that was funny. But he made the smart play there. I mean, he's throwing the ball away. I think he did make smart plays. I think he was reading the field. You could see multiple times where he was going like 1, 2, 3 progressions. Like he was clearly trying to take in everything. I think he stood in there comfortably in the pocket and was delivering some pretty accurate throws. Like that one throw where he I think there was like a safety behind the receiver, some DB in front. He fits it right in front of the DB and puts it right in that little pocket. That was an elite throw. Let's just say that. I mean, it's not. I know it's preseason. I know it's against the Cardinals, but we saw some throws that he was making at IU last year, and I think that was important for him coming out to see how his game would translate. He looks a lot. I'm telling you, he looks a lot like a Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff type player. Like I think he's going to look and play exactly like those guys, and it really does help when Kirk Cousins is mentoring him. So you can see the play styles are very similar. I think he did good in his first preseason game.
Oh, yeah. I think he's going to be a great quarterback when he's ready to play. I think Kirk Cousins is going to start for the first half of the season. We'll see whenever Fernando Mendoza is ready to jump into the fire with the Raiders. And that offensive line is definitely concerning. I don't think he's going to hold up well for him.
I don't know how long you wait, in my opinion. Do you wait until just Kirk Cousins in that Raiders stretch is just so bad to the point you have to put him in, or do you maybe put him in earlier? Like, oh, maybe he's ready.
I think it'll be when Kirk Cousins looks bad. I think if Kirk Cousins plays okay, then you'll probably see Fernando come in mid-season, or maybe not even this season, like an Alex Smith type of season.
Or like a Patrick Mahomes and develop, or Jordan Love. I mean, it's not a broken system to develop a quarterback that way. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't play the full season. I think everybody wants to see the first overall pick play just because you're accustomed to seeing the first overall pick on the field. It'll be interesting to see how he does, if he does play, how this offense looks with him on the field. But I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't rush it. I mean, the Raiders ain't good, so I mean, why put him out there to fail? Doesn't really seem worth it, in my opinion. All it's going to do, him struggling in his rookie year, all it's going to do is it's just going to hurt his confidence. And hurting a confidence for a young QB, I think you need to be a little bit careful with that, because that we saw with Drake May and the Patriots early. They didn't want to play him until Jacoby was just getting to the point where he was beat up so bad they had to put him in. Gives you confidence, because you're like, oh, well, when you play well, and it looks, oh, my team was playing bad before I came in. It gives you confidence. You need it.
The thing with Fernando Mendoza is, I've seen him at his press conference ever since Indiana, now with the Raiders. I don't think he's losing much confidence.
Let's hear from his press conference right now, from the game, reacting to his NFL debut and how he felt, kind of the takeaways he had.
Overall, I felt that the group that I was in with, they blocked fantastic. They had great routes. The run game was good. You know, and unfortunately, I let my teammates down today. But it's but it's a growing experience, and I feel like we're all growing, and it showed me that I need to grow a lot.
Well, he had a pretty solid first half performance, 5 of 8, 47 yards, and then he finished with 97 yards and a touchdown. I thought that was pretty good. Looks nice in Clint Kubiak's offense. I think Clint Kubiak's going to help him a lot this year. He took 10 snaps under center in the first half. He reportedly took only 5 snaps under center during his entire final season in college. That's crazy that he's taking double the snaps under center in his first preseason game than he did all of last year in Indiana. That's how much he had to work on being under center, because he wasn't under center at all last year. He was more RPO style. Now you're under center. That's new for him. And to see him be comfortable with that, I think that shows that he can actually learn and grow, kind of what he's been talking about.
Absolutely. This guy had a scholarship to go to Harvard before deciding to go to California.
I think he had like a 4.5 GPA, something. I mean, dude was smart. Dude's a smart guy. That's why I think he's going to be a good quarterback, because for NFL quarterbacks, you have to be good at processing information and you have to study. This dude seems like he studies a ton and he knows the offense very early. Like, he knows it. He's been locked in for OTAs. He's been locked in for training camp. He's been to everything. He's been locked in. I like the mentality of this kid. I like what he's been doing. Another rookie that made, we didn't think he was going to be a first-round player probably this year, Ty Simpson for the Rams, dude. He went 13th overall, second quarterback drafted this year, but he had a pretty decent debut, in my opinion. 21 of 25, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns. Simpson became the first player since Baker Mayfield in 2018 to record 190 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns in his preseason debut. Sean McVay said what stood out is he took what the defense gave him. He read plays well, used his feet effectively, kept the ball out of danger, and played under control. Simpson, he kind of talked about his debut after the game against the Chiefs and what he felt like, because he basically played the whole game.
I definitely felt more comfortable than I ever had in a game, but I also didn't know what to expect. First NFL game, first live NFL, against NFL teams. But once that first drive kind of, got done with, I was like, all right, this is just like playing in the backyard in Martin. But guys did a great job. So happy for our team, and on to next week.
For Ty Simpson, what did you take away from him playing against the Chiefs?
I mean, it wasn't the top defense for the Chiefs, but he still played pretty well. Like you said, over 190 yards passing in the preseason. I mean, we talked about the Jordan Love, Patrick Mahomes type of situation. This is a similar situation, him sitting behind Matthew Stafford and learning. I think it is the best situation to go for a first-round pick, especially one that we didn't think was going to be a first-round pick.
No, I think he was worthy at one point of being a first-round pick. Like, I think if you look at his first 8 games at Alabama last year, I think you probably could make an argument he's maybe the best quarterback in the draft.
But one of those was against Florida State.
That game too, but also you got to think, he won 7 games in a row after that. Alabama looked like the best team in college football after that, and then they took a cliff dive. He had a good stretch last year where he had the talent, he had the arm talent. I just don't know exactly where that went. I think it was probably the consistency last year. I think he kind of found himself turning the ball over in big spots last year. This preseason game, I'd probably say one thing. I think he needs to start a little bit faster. It took them a while to get on the board. I don't think they had a touchdown until after this first half. So it took them a minute to get a rhythm. 25 passes, 21. I mean, that's pretty good. 25, 21 complete. I mean, that's a good completion rate there. So you want that for your quarterback. Yeah, I think he can develop. I think it's too early to tell if he even can be a franchise quarterback for the Rams right now until he gets thrown into the action. Like, if Stafford gets hurt and he's got to go in there and actually do something, I think that's really the only way we're going to figure out year one what Ty Simpson really is. This is a guy we're not going to be talking about really seriously until probably 2 years, Stafford's probably got 2 more years left under his belt, in my humble opinion. I think he's got 2 solid years of football left. And then I think that gives Ty Simpson enough time to develop. And at that point, I think we'll be able to evaluate if he's good or not. It's just too early to tell for any of these guys right now. You could probably say Fernando looked good, Simpson looked good. I think Simpson probably looked a little bit better than Fernando did, which did surprise me a little bit in the preseason. But it's preseason. I mean, these are the first reps, just getting your feet wet very early.
And like you said, whenever he's ready, he'll be like 25 or 26. He'll have a lot of experience in behind Matthew Stafford in that Sean McVay offense.
Yeah, he'll be ready when he gets his number called, unless it's when Stafford gets injured.
Yes.
That's where I don't think he will be ready. But this Rams team has such good weapons that if he even got thrown in there, I feel like he could be okay. I mean, they have good enough receivers for him to throw the ball to, so it's not like he has nobody. It's not like you're going on the Browns, you know what I mean? And you got Isaiah Bonds as your best receiver. Like, I mean, or Jerry Jeudy, who does nothing. Like, you don't have players like that on the Rams. And you have a great coach. Great coaches are very important. You can have time to develop, but like all the players that we've mentioned, like Jordan Love, Patrick Mahomes, Ty Simpson, what do those 3 guys have in common for their development? They all have elite head coaches. All of those coaches, well, I wouldn't say Packers coach is elite, but Mike McCarthy's won a Super Bowl. He was a consistent coach. He was good with Aaron Rodgers. McVay's won a Super Bowl. Reed's won a Super Bowl. Commonality is you have Super Bowl winning head coaches in that. I think that's important. You got to have a good head coach to develop them. You can have a good team all you want. If you don't have a good coach, it's really not going to matter.
But the thing is, at the time, they didn't win a Super Bowl prior to that. Andy Reid didn't have one before.
But Andy Reid has like been to Super Bowls before with the Eagles. Like he's been knocking on the door. Everybody knew he was one of the best coaches in the league, even before he went to the Chiefs. The Chiefs just kind of polished his legacy up. In my opinion, you're going to remember Andy Reid a little bit more as like an all-time great. If he didn't go to the Chiefs and win all these Super Bowls, I maybe wouldn't have said the same thing about him because he always just had good teams in Philly. Teams good enough to win, they just never would get the job done. That was the thing with Andy Reid. That's why he left Philly to try and go win.
Yeah, he couldn't win in Philly.
No.
The team that he had.
He tried. I mean, he had chances, but he couldn't get it done. Let's do one more, and then we'll do some AP poll stuff because the AP poll came out today, so we'll talk about that. So Jaxson Dart is he got hit pretty hard in the preseason. Nobody blocked this dude. I think it was a miscommunication on the front. Preseason, that's concerning. Can't have him get hit like that. I didn't know he led the league in going to the medical tent.
Really?
The blue tent. He's been in the medical tent more than anybody last year. That's crazy to me. And he went in the blue tent for the preseason. Dude got knocked out, dude. He was laying there. He didn't get up for quite a while, which, to be fair, I don't think it's because of concussion. He might have had the wind knocked out of him. A bunch of things. Might have just been in pain. He just got decked in the ribs. What do you want him to do?
and with Jaxson Dart, you look to the example of the Patriots game from last year, where Jaxson Dart just took that hit going to the sideline instead of just going out of bounds. That play that he got that hit on, it wasn't his fault. That running back should have picked up the guy coming in.
And last year, Dart, he underwent in his rookie season 5 concussion evaluations. He was diagnosed with 1 concussion, the concussion that caused him to miss 2 games. So basically people were saying because of his history with concussions, that's why they put him in the blue tent. People were upset, or Jackson was actually upset that he got into the blue tent. He didn't think he needed to be in there. He think it was just because, I've gotten hit. Listen, I think in that situation, I know football is happening so fast, but he needs to learn how to protect himself better. I've seen John Gruden tell you this many times. It's not the first time somebody's told him to slide or just go down before you get hit. You cannot get hit like this as a quarterback. He was one of the most hit players as a quarterback. I think he had 101 contact hits.
Yeah.
That's top 10 in the league, and he didn't even play the full season last year. Imagine if he plays. There's no way. if he plays a full season, he will even make it through a full season because he's going to be injured.
Yep.
He needs to learn how to protect his body better. As a young quarterback, I know he wants to run and all these other things. You cannot go out, especially if your team is relying on you to win games. You have to stay healthy. You have to protect yourself. There were many times last year where he would just put his head down. I'm like, why would you do that?
And the best availability is, availability. Yeah, that's the point.
Like,
that's what Jaxson Dart needs to learn. Absolutely.
And you're taking big hits. This one probably, in terms of like other hits, probably not as bad. But when he's running, last year we saw it. He needs to protect himself.
Yes.
Can't
You have to
keep
step out of bounds or slide.
Dude,
That's
if I'm
the
a
thing.
Giants fan, I'm holding my breath every time he gets hit or even runs past the line of scrimmage. I am holding my breath. That's your season. Do Giants fans not get that? You are doing nothing. You really think famous Jameis, I love famous Jameis, but you really think he's going to help you guys make it to the playoffs? I don't know. He's not a sure. I think Jackson Dart is more of a sure thing than Jameis.
I'll be honest, I thought Jameis Winston was retired after him doing what he did for Fox during the World Cup.
He's got a future in TV, that's for sure. I think Jackson Dart just needs to protect himself. Protect yourself. Slide, and then that situation, just fall to the ground. Mm-hmm. You're allowed to do that. And then if he hits you, that's a penalty. You're on the ground. It's a win-win to protect yourself here. Mm-hmm. There's no win in toughing it out and saying, I can just take the hit. Whatever. Don't do that.
You only take so many hits.
You can only take so many, and we've seen how concussions are with players. The more concussions you get, the worse it is. Mm-hmm. And he's already had a good amount. This was a problem for him in college, where he would just take unnecessary hits as a quarterback. You can't do that. You got to be programmed to protect yourself. I think that's what I would say about that. Now, you've got some news.
Yes.
The AP poll for college football came out. I don't know it. This is blind. So I want you to read it up to me. We'll put it up on the screen so you guys can see it here. But
all right, let's start with the number one team, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Okay, not surprised about that one.
Number two, the Oregon Ducks.
Okay.
Number three, the Georgia Bulldogs.
Okay.
Number four, Notre Dame.
Okay.
Number five, Texas Longhorns.
Okay, so top five is Ohio State, Oregon, what was three? Georgia, Notre Dame, and who was five again?
Texas.
Honestly, that's solid. I mean, Oregon's at 2, right? Mm-hmm. The only one I would flip in that top 5, I would flip Oregon and Notre Dame. Notre Dame has C.J. Carr, who is the Heisman Trophy favorite. If you're the Heisman Trophy favorite in the preseason and he's on your team, I think you should at least be a top 2 ranked team in the country. Do I think Oregon and Dante Moore, that's a good team they got over there, and Dan Lanning's done a great job? Yes, but I do think Notre Dame, they had one of the best recruiting classes. They did really well. Marcus Freeman's one of the best coaches in the country, if not the best. I think Notre Dame is going to have a great year, and I think they're really, really good football team. Those out of that top 5. Other than that, I would just flip those 2.
I mean, I wouldn't disagree with you there. Like you said, C.J. Carr, the Heisman favorite. Let's not forget they won 10 games toward the end of last season. They decided to pull out of their bowl game because
they didn't make the playoff. which is the reason they need to join a conference.
Yes.
I get the TV money that you have with NBC. You can have exclusive deal or whatnot. But not being in a conference last year literally prevented them from making the playoff. You could have easily won the ACC. You win a conference, just be in a conference, they would have been in the college football playoff.
And apparently the CFP is making a special exception for Notre Dame, that if they finish top 12, regardless of whether they get in, they get in automatically if they're top 12.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought this one up. This has been something that's been genuinely bothering me. Mm-hmm. The committee is continuing to make exceptions for other teams, but why would you make an exception for just Notre Dame? you're not making an exception for any other teams. That, hey, you get an automatic spot. It's not fair.
I wanted to bring this up. So if UConn were to finish top 12, do they get into the college football playoff automatically? Because they're the only other independent team right now.
I mean, if you're saying what the committee did and they stick with the rules,
they have a case.
Technically, yes.
Yeah.
Technically, yes. Now,
so if they did that, would Ohio State, would Michigan decide to leave the Big Ten and be independent for a better chance to get in? Or Alabama?
That's a great question. I don't know, because I feel like those conferences will try to keep those teams around, obviously. I mean, those conferences. But what I will say is maybe, because Notre Dame makes a ton of money not being in the conference. That's why they're not in a conference. They get revenue sharing from the college football playoff. Like, all those conferences get money. Notre Dame, they don't have to share with anybody. That's why they are not in a conference. They don't have to share any money with anybody. They're by themselves. But again, if it's going to prevent you from making the playoff as an automatic, and you're not ranked high enough, that's a problem. Like, you should be looking at that as okay, what gives us the best chance to win? And the current structure of the playoff, in my opinion, Notre Dame has to be in a conference for them to have the best chance to win.
Absolutely.
Consistently. Now, if they're undefeated and they make it undeniable, sure. But they were, a one-loss team last year that didn't get in? You're a one-loss team. You didn't get in the playoff. I think that's just going towards what the college football playoff has been saying for years with the 4-team playoff. That's going against that. It's hypocritical that they go 4 best teams for the longest before the 12-team playoff. Then when the 12-team playoff shows up, the 12 best teams aren't even in. I think it's ridiculous, and it hits home with me more because I'm a Florida State fan, and I saw what happened when the 4 best teams got in looked like. It created chaos, and that's what we saw last year. In the current structure, I think they probably got it right just because of the conference stuff and how that worked and how the ACC completely just had a mess. That was Miami's fault.
Yeah.
But think about this. If Notre Dame is in the ACC, this problem does not exist because Miami does not make. They don't make it. They would. Those two guys would even if Miami didn't make it, right? Those two teams would play each other in the conference championship to get in the playoffs. So you would have known right there, hey, those two are the best teams. You go at it. Now you have another head-to-head matchup. Because Notre Dame plays an ACC schedule. They play 5 to 6 games in the ACC. They're basically taking up an ACC spot. I don't know. I think it's an entirely weird situation. I don't know why they're making an exemption for them. Hey, if you do this, so if Notre Dame went 10-2, would they get in this year? If they lost 2 games this year, would they get in?
If they lost 2 games this year, they lost 2 games last year.
Would you automatically put them in if they had a better record than a 3-loss team, but they won a conference championship?
So
you see what I'm saying? It makes it hard to determine that. It's not easy.
So if they finish, let's say 11th, and then the ACC champion finishes 13th, then the group of 5 is 20th, then it wouldn't be fair. Or the 12 team in there as well. You bump them out.
Yeah.
Or you could easily see a scenario where Notre Dame's 12, but they bump out the 11th ranked team. I should put it that way.
Just make it less confusing. I think that's the thing with overall in college football. Everything seems confusing. You have to go layers and layers deep to even figure out what's happening. That's what I don't. That's my thing with who we won't have time to go through everything in the AP poll, but who's one team in there that you're shocked that's in there?
Okay, let me look this over. Penn State at 18.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, that's a little high.
Houston's 23.
That doesn't surprise me, actually. They have a good quarterback. They were really good in the Big 12 last year. I think they're a solid team. I think they could. Houston could win the Big 12 this year.
And Clemson, just on the outside looking at 26.
Yeah, Clemson being ranked a little surprising.
Well, they're not
25?
Not officially ranked. Missouri's ranked 25. Clemson would be the outside looking in.
So Clemson had a receiving vote? They were the most receiving votes?
Yes.
So Missouri's 25, Clemson. Yeah, I think Clemson should be in the top 25.
Florida just misses at 27 as well.
That's interesting. Where'd my Florida State Seminoles fly in the receiving votes? Did we get any? We got no receiving votes. We got 13 in the coaches poll.
13th in the
we got 13 receiving votes in the coaches poll.
Okay.
13, which was 13 less than Georgia Tech, who is projected to finish higher than us in the ACC.
They have Louisiana receiving votes, Liberty receiving 1 vote, Western Michigan.
Who rounds out the top 10 before we get out of here?
Okay, top 10. All right, so we have Indiana, defending champions, at 6, Miami 7, Texas A&M 8, Ole Miss 9, and Oklahoma 10.
I don't have a problem with that. Don't have a problem with that. I don't have any problem with the top 10 at all, really. I would just flop Notre Dame and Oregon. That's it.
I mean, LSU and Texas Tech just miss out, which I understand.
I don't think LSU should get in the top 10. Texas Tech, quarterback-wise, I don't know if they're going to be good enough at quarterback. Will Hammond is their quarterback. See, if they had Sorsby, I'd feel a little bit different, but they don't. LSU, I think, maybe has an argument to be top 10 because they got Sam Leavitt, Lane Kiffin. I think they did a good job in the transfer portal and the recruiting. I think they'll be a good team. It's just LSU, they gotta earn a little bit more respect. Mm-hmm. That's what that is. They gotta earn just a little bit more respect. Penn State being 18 is ridiculous in my opinion. I think they'll be out of the rankings after week 2. That's my opinion. That's my opinion there.
Do you think that's the team that will have the most losses out of the preseason's top 25?
Out of the entire top 25, I don't know because we didn't go through the entire top 25, so I don't know the answer to that.
Here, I'll give you the list to look at it.
Let me see. Most losses in the top 25. I don't know. I'd have to look at schedules, but if I had to guess, I'll go USC.
USC.
I'll go USC. I feel like USC always underperforms, and I'm banking on that. I mean, they've always had good recruiting classes, and they've always had talent. They're just never a top team. That's my issue with them. They should be.
Can Lincoln Riley put things together for them? That's the thing.
I think, in my opinion, this is a big year. I think Lincoln Riley could be on the hot seat if USC does not make the playoff this year. I'll say that.
Okay.
I'll say that. Because I think it's time. Because USC hasn't made the playoff in his tenure.
No.
And that's one of the best coaches in college football. You should be consistently making it.
And the last 2 have been 12-team playoffs.
And he had a Heisman Trophy winner in there, Caleb Williams. So, I mean, there's no reason you should be missing the playoffs. Consistently, and there's certain games they don't win. Like, they don't go at Notre Dame and win. They don't go and win some games on the road or even easy. They just lose games they shouldn't lose. When they had Moss at quarterback, they lost certain games. But they looked good. I just feel like USC, in my opinion, and some of these Pac-12 teams in the Big Ten have struggled to kind of get into the physicality of the Big Ten. Oregon has done a good job with that. I think Washington has shown, they've been struggling, but they've shown they can do well. But everybody else has kind of struggled a little bit. I think USC's been good, but in terms of running the football up the middle, like that kind of style of offense, those Pac-12 teams are kind of having a longer time getting accustomed to that because that's what every Big Ten team does. They're coming from a conference that is basically known for throwing the football down the field. It can work. I hope USC is good because they're a perennial program. They're a really good program. Like when you think of one of the best, like at least big brand names in college football, USC is always at least one of the 10 schools or even 5 schools that you bring up when you talk about some of the best like culture, brands in college football. But they just don't succeed. Like, when was the last time they even made a title game? I want to say it was when Vince Young was playing for Texas, when they played them in the national championship.
Yeah, it was 2005, the last title game USC went
Against
to.
Texas, right?
Yes.
Yep. Just saying, they've done nothing in 21 years.
After Pete
And they're
Carroll left.
always in the top. They're always in the AP poll. Every preseason. You know, they remind me a lot of, I mean, Clemson, I feel like, is last year they were a team that was thrown in. They were highly ranked, completely flopped.
You could throw LSU in there as well.
Those are teams that have done nothing. And they've been in the preseason AP poll and they've done nothing. Preseason polls do not matter.
No.
They don't matter at all. I don't have any stock into them, really. I mean, I think the top 5 could be completely different in 3 weeks. Like, college football is just that crazy right now. And the conferences are just that good.
Yeah.
Like, I think the competition's just, it's a higher level than we've seen. You've got guys staying in college longer, making more money. You have higher quality quarterbacks, I think, in terms of like guys who want to actually stay, maybe not with one program. That's impossible, I feel like, now, because people are just like hopping on the transfer portal left and right. Yeah, that's what I would say with that one. Is there anything else that we need to talk about with that, or I think we got it all covered with the AP poll?
I mean, we basically got it all covered, unless you want to go through the rest of the 25.
No, I don't think so. I think we got everything covered. I think we got anything you want to say before we close this out?
Yes, thank you for watching. Thank you for having me, Jackson.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure to have you on. This is a host of Three's a Crowd, Preston Vargas. I'll put his link to his channel in the description. I'm Jackson Burlison, of course. Make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment down below your thoughts on the video and things like that. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Talk to me, baby. Talk to me nice. I'm from another world, baby, yeah. Broadway paradise. They think I'm way too cold, cause I put my